I'm Judith Hall. I'm a clinical geneticist and I'm an emeritus professor at the University of British Columbia. I'm incredibly grateful for those people who nominated me for this award, and I'm really very honored because it's fun to look back on a lifetime, and a lot has happened in my lifetime. When I started in genetics, nobody even knew how many chromosomes humans had. So when you think of coming from first learning to count the human chromosomes and then starting to realize they're made of DNA and other proteins, and then beginning to actually think about the idea that you could identify human genes, much less sequence the whole human genome. And of course now what's exciting is how do those genes turn on and off? And for me, what does all of that mean in terms of understanding human disorders, inventing new creative therapies, and thinking about how does that plug into the whole life sciences of British Columbia. I think what drives a clinical geneticist is curiosity. Probably it drives all of science, but for a clinical geneticist, almost always it's something about why does this disease work this way? What is it about this patient that they got that problem? And that curiosity is just, you can't help it. You just really want to know what's going on and why it's happening. And when I think back about curiosity, you have to be willing to sort of say, well, I don't know. And I think I learned that from my mom. She was interested in science long before it was fashionable for women to be in science. I remember she used to take us for walks, and she loved looking at worms and bugs and listening to the sound of a bird. And she would always be asking us questions that, of course, we couldn't answer. So then we wanted to find out the answers to them. And I think at a young age, you get that sense of the excitement of science, of finding out answers, of asking questions, and the humility of knowing when you don't know the answer. Nobody told me when I went into academic medicine that part of it was to travel and to go to international meetings and to present your work. The fun of that is that you meet people all over the world, and so you feel like you have a community of people that you can relate to, that you can ask questions of. And of course, one of the other things about traveling is that you get to stay an extra day and see a few things, and consequently, I started a collection of things I found interesting, and because I'm a pediatrician, toys are of interest to me. And so I ended up collecting a toy from a country that I'd been to. And I have a fantastic collection of toys now, which of course when a child comes to my office, we put them to work playing with the toys. We live in a really exciting time. As a geneticist, I see it from the standpoint of what's been happening in genetics. The tools are incredibly powerful, and they're just growing exponentially. So that from a genetic perspective, we will start to really understand biology, the life sciences, in a way that was never possible before. Through the internet, through technology, what will happen is that information will spread. People will ask questions they haven't known enough to ask before. And by working together internationally, I think the opportunities for really solving some of the most basic problems are there. So using genetic technology, we can look at ways to interact with the environment in a really positive way that allows us to think about biodiversity, about ecology, the things that we have to be paying attention to. In human health, a better understanding of human development, understanding how systems work, putting it all together in systems biology. So, of course, I'm biased, but I think the genetic breakthrough has made a huge difference, giving us the tools that will allow us to solve the really profound problems of life science and that the world faces today.